Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. This video is not about bitterness, it's about power, not power over someone, but power over yourself. How a woman feels when she sees you've moved on is a conversation rarely had with honesty. We're often taught to chase, to explain, to prove our worth after heartbreak. But real men don't chase closure. They become it. And when a woman finally sees that you've moved on, not just on the outside, but deep within, something inside her shifts. This isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. In this video, we'll explore exactly how a woman feels when the man she once took for granted no longer needs her validation. We'll uncover the psychology of emotional detachment, reference ancient truths about masculine strength, and show you why your evolution becomes the mirror she can't escape. You'll hear real relationship dynamics, powerful insights on emotional intelligence, and timeless wisdom that every man should carry, because mastering yourself is the most attractive and liberating thing you can ever do. So whether you're healing, rebuilding, or already standing in your power, this message is for you. This is your time to rise, to lead, and to remember. You were never just a chapter in her story. You were the turning point. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below, because every voice in this tribe strengthens the mission. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The initial shock, her world without you. The moment a man detaches emotionally, not out of spite, but out of growth, a quiet shift takes place in the heart of the woman who once had his full attention. That shift, it's shock. You see, in the early aftermath of a breakup or disconnection, many women don't feel the full gravity of your absence immediately. They may seem indifferent. Some even appear to glow, to thrive. But understand this, what you're seeing is often not healing. It's distraction. It's her trying to fill a space she didn't expect to lose. The shock doesn't come when you leave, it comes when you don't come back. When a man who once gave his all, his presence, his patience, his loyalty, goes silent. And that silence is peaceful. Not angry, not desperate, not loud. That's when it hits. That's when she begins to feel what she never expected. That you weren't waiting around, that you weren't a placeholder, that your world didn't collapse without her. In history, we've seen this play out in both intimate love stories and geopolitical ones. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor. After the death of his wife Faustina, he grieved in silence, but he never lost himself in despair. His journals reveal a man who felt deeply, yet governed himself fully. He didn't chase comfort. He embodied resilience. That's the emotional posture of a high-value man. You feel, but you don't fold. When a woman sees you've emotionally moved on, it's not just the end of a relationship. It's the death of her control. Not control in a manipulative sense, but the subtle kind that comes from knowing she can still access your heart, that you'll reply to her late-night texts, that your heart is still somewhere beneath the surface, waiting. But then, you don't reply, you don't check her stories, you don't post cryptic messages hoping she'll see them. You simply live, quietly, fully, on your terms, and that's when the shock sets in. Because a man who can live without her approval is a man she no longer understands. You've stepped out of the frame. And now she's left staring at the empty space where you used to stand. And that absence, it doesn't make her feel free. It makes her feel forgotten. And that feeling? That's the beginning of her emotional unraveling. She may ask mutual friends about you. She might post indirect messages or subtle updates trying to provoke a response. She might even reach out. But this time, it's not from a place of power, it's from discomfort. Her world has tilted. And here's the truth, most men don't realize how powerful their silence is until they practice it. Until they see how much strength lives in peace. In not reacting, in not proving. Emotional mastery is not suppression, it's sovereignty. You're no longer available for emotional manipulation. You no longer seek validation from someone who once withdrew it when it was most needed, and you no longer place your worth in the hands of someone who couldn't hold it with care. So when she truly sees that you're not looking back, it hits her deeper than any argument ever could. This is not about punishment, it's about presence. Your presence, now reclaimed and reinvested in yourself, is what makes your absence so heavy. And whether she admits it or not, she will feel it, not just once, but over and over every time she sees the man you're becoming without her. Because healing in silence is louder than pleading in pain. So, brother, if you're on this journey, stay the course. Don't reach back to soften the blow of your strength. Don't explain your peace to someone who misunderstood your love. She'll feel it, not in your anger, not in your words, but in your absence. Comment below if you're ready to respect your peace more than the past. Chapter 2. The Rise of Regret. When your absence becomes her mirror. When a man genuinely moves on, the ripples of his absence extend far beyond the immediate silence. For the woman who once held his attention, that silence becomes a mirror, one she never expected to face so clearly. Regret is a powerful, complex emotion. It doesn't arrive like a storm, but more like a slow dawn, creeping over the horizon of her consciousness. It begins when she realizes that you've stopped waiting, stopped hoping, and started living your life fully without her. This moment of recognition can awaken deep feelings of loss, not just for what was, but for what could have been. She begins to reflect not only on your absence, but on her own role in the relationship's unraveling. This is the mirror effect. Your absence forces her to see herself, her actions, and the reality she perhaps avoided. Throughout history, cultures have understood this dynamic in different ways. The ancient Stoics taught that control over the self is the highest form of power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In the context of relationships, your detachment becomes the catalyst for her introspection. Similarly, the samurai of feudal Japan lived by the Bushido code, valuing honor, discipline, and emotional control. When a warrior detached himself from attachment and desire, it was not out of cruelty but out of mastery. This mastery commands respect, and often regret, in those left behind. When a woman sees you thriving without her, it can trigger a profound inner conflict. She wrestles with the contrast between the man she thought she knew and the man you've become. The more radiant your growth, the harder it is to ignore the truth of what she lost. But this is not an invitation for bitterness or gamesmanship. True emotional intelligence for a man means understanding that regret for her is a sign of awakening, not a weapon to wield. It's a moment to stay centered in your growth, not to exploit her pain. Regret also reveals what attachment looks like from the other side. Often, women hold on tightly because they fear losing the emotional security you provided. Your moving on breaks that illusion. It forces her to realize that her hold was never as firm as she believed. For men, this phase is crucial. It tests your commitment to yourself. Will you return to old patterns? Will you soften your boundaries to soothe her discomfort? Or will you stand firm, knowing that your peace and progress come first? Emotional mastery means choosing the latter. This stage can also teach us about genuine love. True love is not about possession or control. It's about freedom, both for yourself and for her. When you embody this freedom, your absence becomes a silent lesson in respect, value, and self-worth. Let her regret become her teacher, but do not become her student again. Comment below if you understand that growth is the greatest reflection of your worth. Chapter 3. The Silent Comparison. When you become her standard. When a woman sees that you've truly moved on, something subtle but powerful begins to happen behind the scenes of her mind. A silent comparison. Without saying a word, she measures every man who comes after you against the new version of you she now observes from a distance. This comparison isn't just about looks or superficial traits, it's about value. It's about the standard you set, and it's a standard rooted not in grand gestures, but in the quiet confidence of your peace and presence. Historically, men who carried themselves with quiet strength inspired not only admiration, but a lasting respect. Consider the great Renaissance figures, Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo, men who mastered their craft and presence so fully that their legacy became a benchmark for generations. In relationships, this translates to an undeniable truth. When you grow beyond a woman who once held your attention, you become the yardstick against which every other man is measured. She compares how you handled pain, how you chose self-respect over desperation, and how you rebuilt your life. This phenomenon isn't born out of malice or jealousy alone. It's rooted in the human psyche's need to understand loss and learn from it. When your former partner watches you rise, she's forced to confront what she valued, and more importantly, what she didn't. Your growth becomes the quiet reminder of what she let slip away, and the men she now encounters struggle to fill that space. Some try but fall short because they lack the foundation of emotional mastery you now embody. This isn't about arrogance or one-upmanship. It's about the natural consequences of self-improvement. When you focus on yourself, your goals, your peace, your purpose, you shift the energy in the relationship dynamic completely. Women, like all human beings, are drawn to strength that is steady, not needy, to confidence that is calm, not boastful. Your ability to move on and thrive is the ultimate form of attraction. This was understood long before modern psychology named it emotional intelligence. The ancient Greeks praised arete, excellence in character, as the highest virtue. To live with arete means to embody the best version of yourself, regardless of external circumstances. Your former partner, knowingly or unknowingly, measures the men who come after you against this ideal, and when they don't match up, your place as the standard becomes clear. Remember this, the power is not in her comparing you, it's in you becoming a man worthy of comparison. Growth is your revenge, not bitterness. It is your freedom, not your punishment. Comment below if you're committed to making your growth louder than your pain. Chapter 4. The Power of Moving On. You reclaimed your life. The true power of moving on lies not in what you leave behind, but in what you reclaim. Your life, your peace, your purpose. When a woman sees that you've fully moved on, it's more than just an emotional shift for her. It's a testament to your mastery over yourself. It shows that you no longer depend on external validation to define your worth. You've taken back control of your story, your happiness, and your future. This is the essence of emotional intelligence, the ability to feel deeply without losing yourself, to love without clinging, to release without regret. Throughout history, men who mastered this art have been revered, not because they never felt pain, but because they chose resilience over reaction. Think of the Stoics like Seneca, who reminded us that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. You've embodied this wisdom by stepping fully into your own power, free from the chains of the past. For a woman, seeing this transformation is both humbling and awakening. It's a silent acknowledgement that the man she once knew has evolved, perhaps beyond her reach, perhaps beyond her imagining. But this isn't a moment to gloat or dwell in triumph. It's a moment to reflect on the journey, the losses that taught you, the pain that strengthened you, and the self-love that renewed you. The power of moving on is a quiet, unshakable presence. It's the peace that protects your heart and the confidence that commands respect. For men watching this, remember, moving on doesn't mean forgetting, it means growing. It means choosing yourself every day, regardless of who stays or goes. Your journey is your message, your life is your legacy. Comment below if you've mastered your peace and are ready to protect it. Thank you for joining the Stoic Golden Tribe today. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, share it with a brother who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more timeless wisdom and powerful insights on mastering yourself and your relationships. Don't forget to comment below and share your journey, because every voice here builds strength for the whole tribe. Stay strong, stay present, and above all, stay golden.